Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Jerry Grews, Dean and Provost of Southern Illinois University School of Medicine. I welcome all of you, parents, spouses, families, friends, and graduates, to this convocation of the faculty of the SIU School of Medicine. This convocation is now in session. We meet today for the purpose of commencement for the class of 2023. This is the 49th commencement of the SIU School of Medicine. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sheila Caldwell, Vice President for Anti-Racism, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Chief Diversity Officer for the Southern Illinois University System.
Good morning. On behalf of the Southern Illinois University System, it is my privilege to congratulate the School of Medicine graduates today. It is a time of year that we glean with pride because we say well done to the class of 2023. Please give them another round of applause as we celebrate them. You are proof that discipline, determination, and fortitude leads to success. Yes. You are graduating at a time when the world needs you more than ever. You are the future of medicine, and you have the power to make a difference in the world. Your remarkable aptitude, dedication, confidence, compassion, and humility are the qualities that have brought you to this day and will sustain you as leaders, as practitioners in the medical field. We are inspired by your tenacity to complete your degree despite a global pandemic and disruption. You are stronger, competent, and more prepared to perform the meaningful work in store for you because you have been thoroughly equipped by SIU excellent faculty members with the knowledge and skills to heal the sick, advance science, and improve the health of society. As you embark on your journeys as doctors, I urge you to remember the values and principles that guided you through your education, and remember your oath and responsibility to uphold the highest standards of professionals of your profession to serve those entrusted to your care equitably and with excellence. I would also like to thank and welcome the parents, grandparents, family members, and significant others who have supported our exceptionally talented students on their pathway to success. We know this achievement is in part a result of your steadfast love and commitment. To SIU doctors and all medical professionals who are in the room today, I express my heartfelt gratitude for your dedication and courage in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. You have worked tirelessly over the past 3 years to save countless lives. You have exuded compassion, professionalism, and resilience in the most daunting circumstances. You are the defenders of our time, and I admire your selflessness and sacrifice. You have put your own health and safety at risk to protect me and others, and you have given hope and comfort to many people in need. So now I'm going to ask all of our medical doctors to stand. And if we can give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. And last, today I want to say to our graduates, you have joined the proud legacy of more than 500,000 distinguished SIU alumni. We are confident you will continue our tradition of excellence and impact locally, globally, and beyond. Now, as we look to the future, both at SIU and for each of you, we are excited about everything you will accomplish in the future. We hope success follows you in everything that you do, and we hope you stay connected to the SIU School of Medicine and SIU system. So again, congratulations on your hard work, hard-earned, and well-deserved success. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ed Curtis, trustee for the Southern Illinois University System.
Thank you, Dean Crews. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Southern Illinois University, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 49th commencement of SIU School of Medicine. Before we celebrate our graduates, I want to take a moment to thank some of the people whose wisdom, guidance, and support have made this day possible. Dean Crews, Vice President Caldwell, other members of the SIU administration, thanks for your leadership and wisdom. I want to thank also the faculty and staff, not only for the knowledge you've imparted, but also for creating an environment where students can learn, question, and explore. We all know that healthcare never stands still, and the lessons you've provided are only the beginning of a lifetime of learning that lies ahead for each of these young physicians. But thank you for nurturing their intellectual curiosity and guiding them on this journey. Thank you to the family and friends of the graduates who are with us today. In many ways, their journey has been yours too. You have cheered them on, supported them, and encouraged them during the moments when they wondered if this day would ever come. Earning a medical degree isn't easy, but you were there for them every step of the way. Thank you for being there with a helping hand and a listening ear. Finally, thanks to our graduates of the class of 2023. You have chosen a career path that demands much, but one that also offers endless rewards. Thank you for your commitment and dedication that brought you here and for all your hard work along the way. As you close this chapter in your life and look forward to your postgraduate medical education, remember that above all, your responsibility and your calling is to serve others. I know the education you've received here at SIU has prepared you for that responsibility, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I wish you all the best for the future. Congratulations, class of 2023.
It's now my pleasure to introduce more members of the administration and the dais party. Please hold your applause until all members have been introduced. First, Dr. Greg Poland, class of 1980, our speaker. Dr. Deborah Clayman, Senior Associate Dean for Education and Curriculum. Dr. Amanda Mulch, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs. Dr. Vidya Prakash, Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs and Population Health and Chief Medical Officer. Dr. Don Torrey, Associate Dean for Research. Dr. Wendy Wells-Elamine, Associate Dean for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Dr. Hanami Adrizi, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions. Dr. Shelley Tishkow, Chair, Pharmacology, Medical Microbiology, Immunology, and Cell Biology. Dr. Lisa Wichterman, Treasurer, SIU School of Medicine Alumni Society. 3 members of the faculty have been honored by the class of 2023. Dr. Christopher Gleason, who has been asked to read the Physician's Pledge. Dr. Robert Tennell, Department of Emergency Medicine, who will hood the graduates. Dr. Yaya Zaino, 2023 Golden Apple recipients. And now would all of the faculty members of the SIU School of Medicine please rise, both those on stage and those in the audience. We recognize the faculty members of the School of Medicine who have worked side by side with the graduates in the classrooms, in the labs, in the hospitals, in the community, and in the clinics. Thank you so much. Dr. Tishkow will now present the candidate for degree Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
Will the candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry please rise? Vice President Caldwell, this candidate has completed all requirements established by Southern Illinois University. On behalf of its faculty, I am pleased to recommend her to you for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
In accordance with the recommendation and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Dr. Janelle Chapman is hooded by her faculty advisor, Dr. Michael Olson.
Dr. Tishkow will now present the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry please rise? Vice President Caldwell, these candidates have completed all requirements established by Southern Illinois University. On behalf of its faculty, I am pleased to recommend them to you for the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry.
In accordance with the recommendation and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Master of Science in Molecular Biology, Microbiology, and Biochemistry with all the right, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
These graduates will be hooded by their faculty advisor, Dr. Andy Wilbur. Srishti Bandari. Emily Crone. Alexandria Mayett.
Dr. Tishkow will now present the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Pharmacology and Neuroscience.
Will the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Pharmacology and Neuroscience please rise? Vice President Caldwell, these candidates have completed all requirements established by Southern Illinois University. On behalf of its faculty, I am pleased to recommend them to you for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Pharmacology and Neuroscience.
In accordance with the recommendation and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Pharmacology and Neuroscience with all the right, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Dr. Madan Gamiri, hooded by his faculty advisor, Dr. Don Kaspari. Dr. Nazmul Haq, hooded by his faculty advisor, Dr. Shelley Tishkow.
Physician's Pledge is the traditional symbol of the honored association of medical science with the highest standards of ethical behavior. Dr. Christopher Gleason has been asked to lead the physicians in the recitation of the pledge. The Physician's Pledge is found on page 11 of the commencement booklet. Please turn to page 11. Will all physicians on stage and all physicians in the audience please rise?
Class of 2023, thank you for allowing me this privilege this morning. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit consideration of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with the good medical practice. I will foster the honor of noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I will make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the degree Doctor of Medicine please rise? Vice President Caldwell, the degree Doctor of Medicine is awarded only to those who have demonstrated outstanding ability and knowledge and the diligence and personal strength of character necessary to be a physician. These candidates have completed all requirements established by the School of Medicine, and on behalf of its faculty, I am pleased to recommend them to you for the conferral of the degree Doctor of Medicine.
In accordance with this recommendation, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medicine with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Dr. Ademola Akim Adioshun, Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Elikem Miriam Agama, Springfield, being hooded by her father, Dr. Adam Agama. Dr. Claude Andres, Springfield. Dr. Cody Bailey, DuQuoin. Dr. Jeffrey Baker, Granville. Dr. Dana Bakir, Springfield, being hooded by her father, Dr. M. Bakir. Dr. Madison Bandler, Decatur. Dr. Joseph Bernard, Peoria. Dr. Brandon Bluette, Carbondale. Dr. Robin Michelle Blood, Mattoon. Dr. Hannah Catherine Bosaw, Shawneetown. Dr. Sydney Michelle Brewer, Bunker Hill. Dr. Christopher Patrick Callahan, Carlinville. Dr. Suchana Chalagan, Normal. Dr. Kamaria Razia Coleman, Memphis, Tennessee. And unable to join us this morning, Dr. Joshua Phil Crum, Fairview Heights. Dr. Mary Evans Dickerson, Champaign. Dr. Ehitare Martina Emuze, Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Jacob Anthony Ferris, Springfield. Dr. Ashley Nicole Gagan, Belleville. Dr. Robert Alonzo Gauze Wills, Lansing, Michigan. Dr. Emily Esther Gibson, Bloomington. Dr. Michael Gleason, Springfield, being hooded by his father, Dr. Christopher Gleason. Dr. Jordan Goodrich, Huntley. Dr. Blake Ashley Gray, DeSoto, Texas. Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Green, Houston, Texas. Dr. J. Daniel Ferrer Gumayan, Iloilo City, Philippines. Dr. Benjamin Garrett Harson, Belleville. Dr. Danielle Hawthorne, Belleville. Dr. Marina Hayes, Gillespie. Dr. Allison Hofer, Loda. Dr. Carly Hoffreiter, Mount Zion. Dr. Daniel Patrick Holtz, Godfrey. Dr. Raquel Ibarra, Chicago. Dr. Raquel Judith Johnson, Inglewood, California. Dr. Todd Johnson, Belleville. Dr. Stacy Rwanda Joseph, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Joining us from Minnesota, Dr. Rebecca M. Kleinsmith, Washington. Dr. Brooke Elizabeth Cable, Island Grove. Dr. Eric Kong, Champaign. Dr. Lexi Morgan Kramer Callahan, Mattoon. Dr. Mitch Kunzman, Springfield. Dr. Sarah Leaf, Springfield. Dr. Joseph Leasis, Elmhurst. Dr. Rebecca Lewis, Danville. Dr. Ryan Luce, Harrisburg. Dr. Aaron Maddox Wan, Bethalto. Dr. Matthew Lloyd Mosley, Springfield, being hooded by his parents, Dr. Catherine Hild Mosley and Dr. Bob Mosley. Dr. Samuel Mounts, Springfield. Dr. Jeffrey Nee, Springfield, being hooded by his father, Dr. Dautai Nee. Dr. Kiaboka Niumbu, Boston, Massachusetts. Dr. Hannah Elizabeth O'Neill, Smithton. Dr. Evan Wayne Riggs, Quincy. Dr. Caleb Rumpel, Beacon. Dr. Laren Nicole Cepetti, Rochester, being hooded by her father, Dr. Larry Cepetti. Dr. Ashley Danielle Schneider, Nokomis. Dr. Kennedy Nicole Sheedy, Loami, being hooded by her father, Dr. Michael Sheedy. Dr. Austin Sin, Marissa. Dr. Caitlin Johanna Stoker, Philo. Dr. Jill Nicole Feedy, Edwardsville. Dr. Gabrielle Frederique Throw, Belleville. Dr. Gabriella Chalacia Tyson, Harrisburg. Dr. Darrow L. Traylor, Chicago. Dr. Danelle Marie Voorhees, Dunlap. Dr. J. Connor Voyer, Springfield. Dr. Brian Kenneth Wiegand, Morton. Dr. Katie Ruth Wildman, Atwood. Dr. Stephanie Rebecca Wooten, East St. Louis, Missouri. And last but not least, Dr. Kimberly Ann Woodenberg, Pine Top Lakeside, Arizona.
Well, the class of 2023. Thanks. Our speaker today is Dr. Greg Poland. Dr. Poland is a great physician, scientist, great leader, great communicator, great human being. He's a vaccinologist and the director of the Mayo Clinic Vaccine Research Group, a group that has led the world in the discovery of new knowledge about immunity and in the development of new vaccines, and a group that has had worldwide impact in the communication of the proper understanding and use of new vaccines. During the pandemic, Dr. Poland became one of the great voices of reason for understanding the nature of COVID-19 disease and for sound policy for COVID-19 decision-making. He gave us a lot of practical advice, like make health decisions based on the data, not on anecdote, not on fear. He lives by his advice. At Mayo Clinic, Dr. Poland is professor of medicine, infectious diseases, molecular pharmacology, and experimental therapeutics. He was one of the pioneer leaders that led to the recommendation for universal influenza vaccination for all Americans aged 6 months and older. He's the president of the Edward Jenner Vaccine Society and the editor-in-chief of the medical journal Vaccine. He has personally advised 4 presidents of the United States. His many achievements have received international recognition. He's a member of the prestigious Institute of Medicine of the National Academy of Sciences. He received the Merit Award from the National Institute of Health, the Secretary of Defense Award for Excellence, the Secretary of Defense Medal for Outstanding Public Service, the SIU Prize for International Infectious Disease Epidemiology, and the Charles Milieu Lifetime Achievement Award in Vaccinology. He is a graduate of Illinois Wesleyan University and received his medical degree from SIU School of Medicine. We are very proud of him, Dr. Greg Poland.
Let me get myself organized here. Honey, is my hair okay? I have to tell you that I have had a remarkable couple of days here. I've met many of the students, some of the faculty, and 2 in particular remarkable men who I hope will be lifelong friends, Mr. Ed Curtis and Dr. Jerry Cruz, truly remarkable men. You have been advantaged to be under their tutelage. The title for my comments today is A Tapestry of Possibility, Veiled as Problems, Puzzles, and Predicaments. What I'm about to tell you has been a long time in the making. It affects me and it affects you and everyone you will ever see or interact with as a patient. It is a series of problems as I say, disguised as puzzles, predicaments, and possibilities. And so today I want to speak ex animo, that is, from the heart. I worry a bit, more than a bit, that what I have to say may disturb you and perhaps diminish the happiness of this day, but that is not my intent. And someone has to say what we all know but have collectively decided not to fix in American medicine. And all of this requires that we speak ipsissima verba, that is, in exact words. To provide a meta-narrative frame for my thoughts today, I'm acutely aware of what George Orwell said. The further a society drifts from truth, he said, the more it will hate those who speak it. Please, let's not go that far today. But what I say today, I hope will encourage you, not disturb you, and motivate you to take action. If you will, a call to arms to the class of 2023. My concerns revolve around our very profession, or rather what's left of it, given its increasing camouflage as an insurance-dominated business. Medicine has become increasingly inaccessible and poorly connected, with little or no accountable medical care, something the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic illuminated and made clear, stripping us of any plausible deniability. I want to emphasize that the pandemic did not cause the problems that we'll discuss today, but it did uncover and exacerbate them. My diagnostic impression is this: medicine in the 21st century is failing fast in its primary mission of accountable, affordable, equitable, safe, holistic, preventive, integrated care that prolongs healthy lifespan, brain span, and play span, while simultaneously accelerating in unprecedented scientific advances. So the problems. Problem number one, we no longer share a single transcendent reference point for decision-making in any sphere of civil society, medicine or otherwise, not a single common collective point of universal agreement in our society. This became woefully obvious in regard to the U.S. pandemic response, where only 69% of eligible Americans received the primary series of COVID-19 vaccines, and less than 17% a bivalent booster, and many refused to wear a mask. And this in a country where we had more vaccines, knowledge, and wealth than any other country in the history of mankind. And yet we suffered here in the U.S. significantly more deaths than any other high-income country. This is self-sabotaging, colleagues, self-injurious, and the outcome data speaks for itself, including millions more who suffer complications and long COVID. Problem number two, we have become a pathologically narcissistic society. There is little to no sense, unlike other cultures, of doing what is best for other individuals. We have got to move from me to we. Problem number three, a false epistemology. Everyone is an expert in the scientific method and the practice of medicine, distorted, as we saw, to meet political and economic demands rather than truth and moral absolutes. And as a result, are you prepared for this? 1 out of every 282 Americans is now dead of COVID. Deaths we could have prevented with free vaccines and a 50-cent mask. Even now, as I speak, 1,000 people a week in the U.S. die of COVID. The world is different now, if only by who is no longer among us. Perhaps Albert Camus put it best in his book, The Plague. They fancied themselves free, and no one will ever be free so long as there are pestilences. He went on to say that everybody knows that pestilences have a way of recurring in the world, yet somehow we find it hard to believe in ones that crash down on our heads from a blue sky. There have been as many plagues as wars in history, yet always, he said, plagues and wars take people equally by surprise. And while the pandemic was a shock, it should not have been a surprise. We were warned 2 times previously. What must happen to force us out of our slumber and complacency, of repeated cycles of neglect and panic? We need a new generation. We need you that says, enough. Problem number 4. The public health system is broken. Because of this, we were not prepared, nor will we be prepared for the next pandemic. Senior leaders in government, science, public health, and medicine failed. They failed to speak truth or were silenced, failed to prepare and believe the warnings many of us, myself included, had directly given them, failed to invest in social science in regard to understanding and mitigating human behavior, and failed to have at the ready actionable plans and systems to allow us to rapidly identify, sequence, and respond to the virus that caused the pandemic. The public health system in the U.S., and I want you to understand this, simply cannot respond well. It is not designed to do so. Throughout the pandemic, we were highly dependent on data from Qatar and Israel and from the UK to make our own policy. Remarkably, and I've been at many of these discussions, ironically, the last one where I presented at an international tabletop exercise, December 5th, 2019, in less than a month, we were to have a pandemic, and we didn't realize it. Everyone reassured one another that we are ready, at least after 9/11, or at least after the 2009 flu pandemic, or at least after SARS-CoV-1, or at least after MERS, or at least now after SARS-CoV-2, or at least after Mpox, or at least, you get my point. Problem number 5, we are an increasingly sick society with an unprecedented set of issues facing us. A society that is increasingly aged and ill, with rampant obesity, diabetes, immunosuppression, substance abuse, and mental health issues that are beyond alarming. Poorer health outcomes and lower life expectancies than the rest of the entire developed world. A problem aligned with what Jonathan Haidt said in his recent Atlantic article, structural stupidity in design. And we have no plan to fix it. The last problem I want to point out is the patient care system in many places is broken. Medicine is more aptly described as a business than a profession, a trade that has been subjugated to and capitulated to inconceivable economic conflicts of interest, politics that is, and the tyranny of the bottom line. Yes, no money, no mission, but enough is enough. No wonder the public is losing trust in medicine. And we need you to change this state of affairs. Please hurry. William Dawson commented on this tragic state of humans and societies when he said, "What many learn too late is the immense importance of plan and the tragic brevity of time." Over 1 million Americans have now learned the tragic reality of this truth. Perhaps it is true that we learn geography the morning after the earthquake. But did we? So what might be the way forward? For those of you set apart and called into the profession of medicine, let me give you 7 simple words with which to direct your career and your energies. It is the primary value we hold at the Mayo Clinic, and while I did not hear it articulated during my 3 days here, I saw it lived out among your faculty, and that is the needs of the patient come first. It is a simple, declarative, moral statement. It is consistent with medicine as a profession. Please let those words become your words, your vision, your mission in guiding light. The prognosis for our medical system for the care of patients using care in its fullest sense is conditional upon knowing truth, upon having transcendent reference points for decision making, and depends upon you and I being what George Bernard Shaw called unreasonable men and women who insist on the radical notion of absolutely transparent truth and the highest ideals of the profession. You must see that the surest way to make the dreams you have as young physicians come true is by your individual and collective ability to articulate and understand and live these ideals, even in the face of many pressures. You now go into your residencies and into advanced studies. You enter into a phase of learning where the pace is different, the demands excessive, and the stakes are life and death. You must see and know the truth of what the ancient Greek philosopher Aeschylus said so many centuries ago. He who learns must suffer. And even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget drops drop by drop upon the heart. And in our own despair, against our own will, comes wisdom to us by the awful grace of God. But seen through a different facet of the diamond that is the profession of medicine, if you have the heart of a healer coupled with an empathetic disposition, you will see the truth in what the philosopher Nicholas Westerstolff said: I shall look at the world through tears. Perhaps I shall see things that dry-eyed I could not see. We must learn, colleagues, to look not just to the things that are seen, but also to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. You and I now see in a mirror but dimly. Now you know in part, but over the decades of your career, if you pay attention, if you are a dedicated learner, you will know more fully. George Bernard Shaw said that the one thing we learn from history is that men never learn anything from history. I will honor my daughter and my wife by saying, he said men. I had hoped we might prove Mr. Shaw wrong, not only in the modern practice of medicine, but also in the context of what the pandemic illustrated about our medical and public health system, but we chose not to. Worrisome to me is what COVID-19 revealed to us about ourselves. It brutally stripped away the comfortable illusions we hold about ourselves, our world, and our science. We are left with what's called a poverty of explanation for what has happened, unable to rationally explain how it is even conceivable that America responded in the manner in which it did. Rather than do what scientists, physicians, and public health servants are pledged to do, we instead saw ample evidence of collective rebellious behaviors, behind which stood dynamic and variegated political and economic conflicts of interest and deceptions that are antithetically opposed to, yet parasitic upon the scientific method. And this, again, is ultimately self-defeating and injurious. Marcel Sandrel, the French physician and philosopher, wrote in 1954, think of these words as I read it based on today. Each civilization, he said, by its customs, its laws, its principles of thought, creates for itself a pathology appropriate to itself. He said a society chooses its diseases and shapes its own pathological destiny. We as physicians must all learn that failure to truly prepare for pandemics of infectious diseases, or for that matter of obesity, of diabetes, of substance abuse and mental illness, in its totality, is a decision to place people, populations, and economies at cataclysmic risk. And so perhaps we can do no better in thinking about this than Hippocrates did millennia ago when he said to young physicians, declare the past, diagnose the present, foretell the future. In Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar, Brutus says the following: there is a tide, he said, in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current while it serves, or lose our ventures. We mustn't listen to the naysayers who tell us that nothing in the system can change, that the problems are simply too big. Such thinking is told to us in Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 5, is a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. A tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury and signifying nothing. Did not 2019 to 2022 demonstrate to us the truth of what happens when we continue as is, when we ignore this tide in the affairs of men and again fail to prepare? There is much you and I can do, starting with our individual actions and in placing men and women of moral courage and high intellect into positions of power and governance. In fact, I would say collectively, it is our moral duty to do so. You and I must, as a first principle, see the profession of medicine as a moral imperative. We must demand repair of our medical and public health system, of the way in which we practice medicine, and the way in which we deploy the fruits of medical research equitably. No more privileged classes, please. Dreamer, you may say, but I remind you that what seems impossible today can move to improbable, then to possible, and finally to inevitable. We must see that the surest way to make dreams come true is to live them and to insist upon them. So as we gather today to commemorate your achievements and urge you on to the next steps of your training in this great profession, please consider your individual and collective roles in this great profession. Else suffer Edgar Allan Poe's keen insight when he said, words have no power to impress the mind without the exquisite horror of their reality. And therefore, what can I advise you but perhaps to follow the advice of Albert Einstein's admonition that the only a life lived in the service to others is worth living. Colleagues, for now, you are my colleagues. I urge you, I plead with you, take the narrow, hard, lonely, and less traveled road. For if you do, and I do, it will change everything for everyone, everywhere. We must be informed by and now live with the wound of knowledge and truth, of shadows now replaced by realities, of a type of moral injury. Consider in your own lives that when Ulysses passed the Isle of Sirens, he had himself tied to the mast and his ears stopped with wax, that he might not hear the sirens singing. A metaphor for us of our pitiful attempts at dealing with economic conflicts of interest and political and self-interest. But be like Orpheus. When Orpheus passed the Isle of Sirens, he sat on the deck indifferent, for he too was a musician who could make beautiful melody, more beautiful than the sirens, such that their alluring songs were to him a discord. Such is the power of a greater affection. We need to reclaim this expulsive power of a greater affection. And that is what medicine demands, to attach our endeavors to the greater affection not of money or fame or position, but of protection of the vulnerable, of the elderly, of the young, of the marginalized, of the immunocompromised. In other words, fulfilling and living out the highest ideals of our profession. We as learned people engaged in the great profession of medicine must determine to work and live by first principles. We need to be aware and cognizant of that great arc of life in which we are actors on the stage, and the great power in your own lives of materially harmed those we are pledged to serve. We must see and protect the divine thread that ultimately runs through and informs our passions for our science. And I'm winding up here. I know many of you feel like the young baby there. They are not illusions, for illusions are simply the truths we live by until we know better. Now we know better. Now we know what must be done. Now we must be courageous. Now we must be, as Martin Luther King advised, alive to the fierce urgency of now. What medicine needs, and you are the vanguard by which it can be led. Indeed, the vanguard by which it must be led is a new worldview informed and leveraged by a holistic and futuristic mindset of the possible, of harnessing advanced technology, of intention, of profound expertise, and a scalable business model sustained by a virtuous and not a vicious cycle. A vision of medical care that always leads to rapid, optimized, precision diagnosis and treatment, maximally appropriate biowearables, minimal to no toxicity, and unbelievably accurate preventive and predictive care delivered within a holistic and integrated care model, anywhere, anytime, for everyone. In short, it should seem magical to our patients. But I want to not only alarm you as I finish here, but to stir you to action and point to a better way. Consider, if you will, the words of William Wordsworth. A deep distress has humanized my soul. And when the stream which overflowed the soul was passed away, a consciousness remained that it has left deposited upon the silent shore, of memory images and precious thoughts that shall not die and cannot be destroyed. May those words prove both prophetic and healing. Blessings on each of you, and may you be the type of physician you want for your own loved ones, weaving individually and corporately a tapestry of possibilities that solves the problems, puzzles, and predicaments we find ourselves in. May God continue to richly bless your journey as a healer. Thank you.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lisa Wichterman, Treasurer of the Southern Illinois University School of Medicine Alumni Society, who will present the Distinguished Alumni Awards. Lisa.
It's a joy to be here today representing the Alumni Society and our 3,200 physician alumni. I love this medical school and I'm proud to work with our Board of Governors. Today we honor 3 of our own who embody the mission of SIU School of Medicine. Dr. Julie Panapinto from the class of 1991 is our 2023 Distinguished Alumni Achievement Award recipient. Dr. Panapinto is a renowned pediatric hematologist, a researcher, and a champion for helping those living with sickle cell disease. She's also the director of the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute's Division of Blood Diseases and Resources. As a hematologist, Dr. Panapinto rose to be a tenured professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin and the director of their Sickle Cell Disease Center. Her teaching has been recognized by multiple awards from both Brown University and the Medical College of Wisconsin. She is an NIH-supported researcher and member of both the American Society of Hematology and Patient-Centered Outcome Research Institute. Dr. Panapinto.
Thank you, Dr. Wichterman, and thank you to the Awards Committee and the School of Medicine for this award that I'm honored to receive today. And my heartfelt thank you also to Dr. Kevin Dorsey for the nomination. To the graduates, congratulations to you and your families. I want to share with you some key messages I believe have aided and guided me in my career. Keep the patient front and center in all that you do. Lift as you climb. And show gratitude and appreciation to all those that surround and support you. So number 1, keep the patient front and center in all that you do. Outside of the lifelong treasured friendships I made, one of my fondest memories of medical school was getting to participate in what was called ICM, or Intro to Clinical Medicine. I believe my nephew says it's now called doctoring, but from the very first week of medical school. After all, this is what we had all worked so hard for, to begin to learn how to become healers, which starts and ends with the individual who is in need of healing. And this, I believe, served as a very important foundation for my education at SIU Medical School, focusing on the patient, their needs, and their perspective, keeping them front and center. And you all now have this strong foundation for you to build on. So remember the patient focus. Keep the patient front and center in all that you do. Dig deep to never let this slip, as you will face competing priorities that will always be a pull on your work, but it will always be the right thing to do to keep the patient front and center. Lift as you climb. As you go out beyond medical school and develop your careers, remember to always lift as you climb. My career most certainly has benefited from mentors and leaders who presented me with opportunities to lead and grow in my career. as they were leading and growing in their own. My mentor recommended me to serve on a national committee that ultimately led to my leadership of that group. And another mentor stepped aside and offered me a leadership opportunity that would enhance and grow my career. This lift as you climb anchored me as a mentor, whereby I then worked to open up and share opportunities for growth and leadership, not only with my mentees, but my staff. So be that individual that lifts as you climb, building others' careers as you build your own. And lastly, show gratitude and appreciation for those who surround and support you. This includes those who surround and support you professionally, the staff who will be your right hand as you move through your work as a physician. And most especially, this includes your family and friends who walk side by side with you. So a heartfelt thank you to my father and grandfather, physicians who exemplified what it means to be a healer in their day-to-day work and became a model for my work. For my mother, and my mom is out here somewhere in the bright lights with my family, many of them, she instilled that sense of ambition and independence in her 4 daughters, my incredibly amazing sisters, and myself. And to my husband and 3 sons, my sons for going along with me on this journey, and to my husband David, a physician healer himself, for always believing I could do more and be more than I ever aspired to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Dr. Wesley Robinson McNeese from the class of 1986 is our 2023 Distinguished Alumni Service Award recipient. Dr. Robinson McNeese is the SIU Executive Director for Diversity Initiatives, and he's a special advisor to the SIU Department of Anti-Racism, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. In addition to providing the Robinson McNeese MedPrep Scholarship, he also takes the time to mentor students personally. Dr. Robinson McNeese founded the SIU Office of Diversity and the McNeese Physician Pipeline Preparatory Program. Wesley serves on numerous committees, and he's also an ordained minister by the Church of God. His leadership and deep commitment to the common good is evident by the endearing impression he leaves with all who encounter him. Dr. McNeese is unable to be with us today. Accepting this honor in his behalf is his daughter, Dr. Sophia McNeese Ruffin, class of 2013.
Good afternoon. Standing here as the daughter of a man deemed distinguished is humbling and sweet. He's daddy to me. My father is ill and has asked me to read his remarks. Congratulations, graduates and families. Welcome to the profession. I offer esteem to the women and men in the auditorium who are worthy and wish all here a festive afternoon. It saddens me not to be here personally for this auspicious occasion, but I am encouraged for this award, ratified by a group of my peers. From childhood, I was taught to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. These have been watchwords for my life, and from them much has flowed. I deliberately chose to generate good things as a physician and as a person living in community. If my associates have deemed any of this distinguished, then may it be so. You honor much more than me with this award. Borrowing from the words of one of my favorite speechwriters, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., exclaimed in 1964, Oslo, Norway, during a ceremony of peace. King writes, "I accept this award in the spirit of all those whose beauty is truth and truth beauty, and in whose eyes the beauty of genuine brotherhood and peace is more precious than diamonds or silver or gold." my father concludes. I'll be out there struggling with you again soon. All of you who are committed to this brotherhood's journey, remembering that it is often disruptive along the way. And we will need to hold tightly to one another in order to achieve a beloved community. I wish you all the best. Now, as his daughter, I think of the stock from which he comes, the strength and the poise of his predecessors. I believe the highest honor that could ever be bestowed is the continuation and enhancement of the spirit embodied in all his works. There is a spiritual that talks about where we go after an earthly life, but also talks about the legacy we build and leave. I think my father and the better place that he continues to build. I'm building me a home. 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 This earthly house is gonna soon decay, and my soul's gotta have somewhere to stay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lastly, we have Dr. Samir Vora from the class of 2011. He receives this year's Distinguished Alumni Early Career Award. Dr. Vora was both a Fulbright and Presidential Leadership Scholar. Recently, he was also appointed the Director of the Illinois Department of Public Health. A leader in both state and national health policy matters, his recent focus has centered on improving health outcomes here in central and southern Illinois. Dr. Vora was also the founding chair of the Department of Population Science and Policy at SIU School of Medicine. He is a practicing pediatrician and associate professor of pediatrics, public health, medical humanities, and law at SIU. Samir also served as interim chairman of the Children's Mental Health Partnership of Illinois.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wichterman, and thank you to the SIU School of Medicine Alumni Society. Hearing the riveting words of Dr. Poland and our fellow scholars, and the beautiful voice of Dr. McNeese, and I'm afraid that if I start singing, they'll take this award back. But for me, this acknowledgement, and for any award, is an acknowledgement not just of your own individual accomplishments, but those that gave you the strength and courage to succeed. Obviously, for me, that's my wife, Tasneem, my two daughters, my parents. But so much of your success, class of 2023, is the people to the left, those people behind me, those people behind you, that you are a part of this SIU School of Medicine family. And a family that remembered you and thought of you all of these 4 years, but will remember and think of you every day afterwards. Don't forget it, because I am here, my success for this award, the ability to be a faculty member that got the chance to greet you 4 years ago in a very different time when I had the honor of welcoming you to medical school. And now, congratulations to you, because I get also the great honor of saying welcome to this family as medical doctors and graduates of this incredible School of Medicine. I'll leave you with two things. One, this journey as a doctor is about service. Serving every day to, as Dr. Poland said, meet the needs of your patients. And that service comes often with great sacrifice, but one that will be so meaningful throughout your career. It's gonna be times where you're gonna have to keep hope alive, even during the saddest moments and tragedies that your patients will face. But be hopeful. And part of this journey around the challenges that we face in medicine and public health is that with hope is also the ability to make purposeful change. Your careers will be defined with that. Great opportunity, great ability, but the thing that will guide you and should guide you is the purpose you have in this profession. An early career achievement award means that you have more work to do, right? And my purpose currently is to serve this state of Illinois, to learn many of the lessons, to fix and help fix the problems that Dr. Poland mentioned. But similar to the success that got me through this career up to this point, the future purpose for me is also a team sport. And looking forward to working with every single one of you to be part of this family. My acknowledgement to reach out to all of us so we can be part of your journey to make a difference. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you to the Alumni Society for such a meaningful and prestigious award.
It's my pleasure now to announce the recipients of the Leonard Tao Humanism in Medicine Awards. These special honors are given to a graduating student and to a graduating faculty member who are judged to be exemplary in their compassion and sensitivity in the delivery of care to patients and family members. 2 individuals have been identified by the faculty, residents, and students as individuals who exhibit this highest standard of humanism in medicine. Will Ademola Adeosun please come to the podium? Dr. Ademola Adeosun has been a doctor now for 72 minutes. But he's been a student of medicine and a compassionate person for much longer than that. Just come right on up here. He's a leader in the class of 2023. One nominator wrote this: feeling or showing sympathy and concern for others is the definition of Ademola's compassion. During the early stages of COVID-19, when there was great uncertainty about the mode of transmission, Dr. Adeosun volunteered to process samples, did contact tracing, helped in vaccine drives, got on the front lines in the community to be a partner to build trust. He calmed the community. He sat with patients and individuals in the community to really understand them, to show them that she or he is important. He extends grace at all points of care. Dr. Adeosun made the School of Medicine and the SIU system a better place too. He worked to help organize equity, diversity, inclusion affinity groups to deliver powerful and practical recommendations to us, recommendations which helped reshape how our SIU system thinks and acts. So, congratulations.
I'll keep this very short and quick. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, class of 2023. Thank you to the SIU student body and everybody. Just want to say thank you so much to my mom, to my family, to my sisters, to my brothers, to my friend, to Dr. Elamine, Dr. Bowers, and thank you to my wonderful, beautiful wife, Sachina. You have supported me for 4 years. I've been the sugar baby in the family. So Thank you so much. It's finally time for me to bring home the bacon. I love you so much. And last but not least, Naija know to carry last.
Will Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine please step forward? Dr. Y, the class of 2023 and the faculty chose her for this award. I remember the first day I met Dr. Elamine in my office in family medicine. At that moment, I witnessed her great integrity, her understanding of responsibility, commitment, and prioritization. I gotta stop for a minute. Wendy understands the depths of the needs of her students, patients, and communities. She's a mentor to students who need her the most. She draws the best out of her students. She gives them confidence. Confidence to overcome deep-seated doubts, to know their real worth and their real potential. She inspires them so they fully grasp the great impact that they will have on the world. She's a shining star who readily accepts the responsibility of being a role model. Students want to be like Dr. Wendy, no doubt. The nominators wrote many things. I won't even go into them. They would only scratch the surface. But Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine, a pillar for what is right in medicine and life.
I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity to serve humanity. This totally caught me off guard, but I want to thank my family. I want to thank my 3 daughters, Samira, Ariana, and Yasmin, for being on this journey with me. I want to thank Binti Wilson and my complete family. But I want to thank SIU School of Medicine's bold leadership to step up and do the things that are right and to provide people with opportunities that will truly transform society and keep more people on this earth. So thank you, class of 2023. My only words to you is never let fear be your compass. Always stand in your truth and refuse to ever be pushed out of your integrity. Thank you.
I now recognize Dr. Emily Gibson, chair of the class of 2023.
Really impacted our learning and understanding through the past 4 years and has really made lasting impacts on our education. Starting out in his Stork Clinic, he gives students a ton of autonomy. He lets us ask clinical questions. He wants us to come up with management plans and really pushes us to be better student doctors and physicians in the future. Whether it's the Stork Clinic or throwing you into a C-section and helping you learn to tie knots or delivering babies, Dr. Zaino has made a lasting impact on myself and the rest of the class of 2023. I am honored to give this award to Dr. Zaino from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and present him with the Golden Apple Award from the class of 2023.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson, for these nice words, and thank you to all the graduates of the class of 2023. I'm very honored and humbled to receive this award, especially it came from the student that I work with every day, and especially with their consistent evaluation and feedback that always say that I have high expectations. And sometimes intimidating. I get your words, and hopefully this award is a very good reassurance to me that I'm not that bad. So, thank you. It's been a beautiful journey for me here in the last 2 decades here at SIU. working with students. I learned from my faculty, partners, co-workers, and the student more than what I taught anybody. Education is my passion and super important to me. Here I had the opportunity to pay back to SIU and share my positive experience coming originally from different system. While working with all of you, I focus on increasing hands-on clinical experience. Here at SIU, we created, I think, a great and unique student-focused clinic and many other active educational learning experiences here at OBGYN department and the School of Medicine. This was done as to challenge the students to reach a higher potential and as of respect to what you all can achieve. I strongly believe that all of you are very well prepared to start your new chapter of your life in your residency, and you will make us all proud. Thank you again for this award. Congratulations to the physicians and to their families. I wish you all the best in your career and in your life. Thank you very much.
All right. Families and friends, distinguished faculty members, honored guests, and fellow graduates. As we gather today to celebrate our achievements and look towards the future in our endeavors, I would like to take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we have navigated over the last 4 years and address the class of 2023, my peers and my friends. Together, we have faced many challenges and triumphs, shared many unique lived experiences, and we have also learned a great deal along the way about ourselves, each other, and the practice of medicine. It's dizzying to think about the vast amount of information we have absorbed and mastered since starting medical school, from detailed physiology and complex disease processes to honing our crucial communication and physical exam skills. We have all been fortunate to learn from incredible faculty, physicians, and most importantly, patients over the last 4 years. But today, I want to focus on what we have learned from each other throughout our time in medical school. From day one of our first year, the class of 2023 dived into self-directed learning and forged the foundation of our clinical knowledge together, while also teaching each other practical tips for surviving medical school. In my first M1 cardiac unit, Dr. Khan and Dr. Callahan used the whiteboard to teach our tutor group about pressure volume loops, while Dr. Bernard frequently put on a master class for all of us in the anatomy lab, pointing out important structures and demonstrating how to dissect properly. As we transitioned to the endocrine and gastrointestinal tutor group, Dr. Thede used her background in nutrition to teach us about diabetes and when it was appropriate to consult dietitians in the hospital, while Dr. Mosley and Dr. Johnson taught us the importance of always sharing your pets on a Zoom call to boost morale. During the unprecedented time of COVID, my classmates taught each other how to continue forward with our medical education during the unknowns of a new pandemic, as we held virtual study groups and virtual happy hours to connect while socially distanced. As we moved up to Springfield, I continued to learn from my classmates, both inside and outside of school. Dr. Bailey and Dr. O'Neill taught me how to write notes, give succinct patient presentations, and navigate Springfield Memorial Hospital on Internal Medicine Team D, while Dr. Leasis, Dr. Goodrich, and Dr. Hoffreiter taught us the importance of collegial lunches as we laughed until our stomach hurt at the Saints cafeteria. As we moved through M3 and onto M4, Dr. Rumpel taught our team how to manage the inpatient psychiatric ward, while Dr. Luce helped me to survive 2 weeks of dermatology clinics as a post-sub internship M4 going into OB-GYN who still can't describe rashes very well. Besides the important basic science and clinical knowledge I've studied from and with my classmates over the last 4 years, the most important thing I've learned from every one of my peers sitting in front of me today is what kind of physician I want to be. If my friends had a bet on when I was going to choke up, I think that was it. Dr. Woodenberg and Dr. Bosaw taught me how to balance work with family and what it means to create your path as a woman and mother in medicine. Dr. Cable, Dr. Wildman, Dr. Schneider, and Dr. Dickerson taught me the importance of cultivating an unwavering support system that you can laugh and cry with when you're not in the hospital. Dr. Green and Dr. Coleman taught me how to make others feel seen and appreciated through their intentional interpersonal interactions, while Dr. Gagan taught me the importance of speaking up, even when it is uncomfortable, and the value in fighting to make change for your patients and your colleagues. Dr. Mounts, Dr. Maddox-Wan, Dr. Holtz, and Dr. Voyer taught me how to create a medicine-life balance, and with this, the important life skills of how to play euchre and how to throw darts. Dr. Leaf and Dr. Harson inspired me to be the physician and person who always shows up to help others and is consistently reliable in my word and my action. I will carry the lessons my class taught me for years to come, and I hope to reflect a part of each of them in the physician that I am in the future. Many of us read the book When Breath Becomes Air by Dr. Paul Kalanithi this year. In the book, he says, human knowledge is never contained in one person. It grows from the relationships we create between each other and the world, and still it is never complete. I cannot express how thankful I am for the relationships our class has created, and what I personally have learned from the 68 other members of the class of 2023. The amount of medical knowledge that exists is said to double every 73 days. That means during our 4 years in medical school, the amount of medical knowledge that exists in the world has doubled nearly 5 times. It's reassuring to know that we don't have to know it all and can always lean on each other for support. I am thankful for all that I have learned from my class and that I can continue to learn from them in residency and beyond. Speaking of which, I will be consulting Dr. Bandler to help me manage all electrolyte abnormalities on the labor and delivery floor next year. While the focus of my address was to discuss what we learned from our class and from each other, none of us did this alone, and I'd be remiss not to thank our families and friends who have been with us throughout these past 4 years as well. In addition to our colleagues, classmates, faculty, and staff, we've learned deeply from our support systems. Whether it was a willing ear, a welcomed care package of food and treats, a phone call on an especially tough day, or the simple knowledge that you were there and you cared, your grace, your unconditional and unwavering support and understanding were daily living examples of why family and friends matter. To wrap up, class of 2023, thank you for giving me the immense privilege and responsibility of being your class chair this year. It has truly been an honor. I'm so proud to be a member of the SIU School of Medicine class of 2023 and cannot wait to see all we will accomplish in our careers and lives together. Thank you.
Hey, class of 2023, while you're standing up, stay up, turn around, wave to those who are here who've supported you, give them the big thanks that they deserve. Okay. All right, you can be seated now. Actually, you know, I'd just like to give a few words of thanks and gratitude as well. First, I'm thankful for the common threads in the messages that we've heard today from all of our speakers and we've heard for the past few days. Those messages are probing and practical and hard and good. So take those to heart. I'm really thankful that the public health emergency of COVID-19 has ended and for the work that you, the class of 2023, did. You taught us a lot because you adapted, you persevered, you overcame, you grew, and you did it with grace and kindness and professionalism that actually far exceeded our expectations. So thank you for that. And then I'll say my word of thanks to those who support the SIU School of Medicine, to parents, to alums, to faculty, and all of you who are here today. Your support by caring for our students, our patients, our communities, and for each other. You do that with your time, your talent, your gifts, your financial support. It keeps us going, and it's very much appreciated. I thank you all for that. And I am very thankful, and every one of you should be very thankful, especially the class of 2023, that the Southern Illinois University system encourages creative and innovative learning, and that here in the state of Illinois and at SIU, academic freedom and freedom to be just and fair is actively promoted and not in danger of attack. You all must really cherish and protect that freedom. So you, the class of 2023, are an amazing group of physicians, and to you I doff my tam. We are very proud of you. We know that you've learned to be creative and innovative, to be problem solvers, decision makers, to be leaders. You will make a big difference for a lot of people, for families, for communities, for populations, for the world. On behalf of the faculty and administration of the SIU School of Medicine, I welcome you, the class of 2023, as colleagues. Congratulations, doctors. So now I declare this convocation adjourned. The next phase of your career has commenced. We wish you always the best. Thank you.